On this episode, you asked for it, and now we'll deliver all about housing. I have Ronnie Robinette, former traveler, current recruiter, and Jamie Getzschman, Trail Boss RN, Facebook group, and recruiter to talk everything you'd want to know in a 7-minute window about housing. Atlas All Access starts now.
From Kirkham at 0450.
All right, housing.
Housing.
This is exciting.
It's the best.
We did a survey a while back, and one of the comments that we got was maybe you should do a vlog about housing. And I thought, well, that's a pretty legitimate request, right? I mean, it's one of those things, that is a integral part of taking a contract. Mm-hmm. And then, from your side, from the recruiter side, it's difficult. There are some cities out there where housing is simply just not available.
Absolutely.
Or it is horribly expensive, and it really affects the pay package. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that a little bit. So Ronnie maybe I should mute my phone. There we go. Who was that? Let's embarrass this person. Oh, it's Facebook business. I thought for sure it'd be a traveler that we could call out. Yeah. Okay, so from a traveler perspective, let's talk about, go back to your first contract and talk about that. How difficult was that, or how did you go about finding housing?
Well, my very first contract, I took company housing and found out really quick that was a mistake because the pay was so low. Mm-hmm. The housing was fair enough, but wasn't anything awesome. Nothing
special.
So for my next one, I just I get online, I Google apartments that use 3-month leases.
Okay.
And I've had good luck with that. That's usually what I do every time.
So just Googling that, you'll be able to find in whatever metro area you're in or whatever. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Have you ever used a Craigslist or anything? Is that?
So what I do personally is if it's a city that I know there's other travelers there, mm-hmm. I will have them go look at the housing for me.
Smart.
And one of my good friends was in San Francisco. I had her check out an apartment for me before we even were in San Francisco. So it worked out really well. And you know what? We didn't even know each other in real life at that point. So
you're just Facebook friends?
Yes, we were just Facebook friends.
Hey,
so she was awesome, and take her out for coffee or whatever, and thank her for doing that for me. But
that's pretty great.
That's an interesting request especially if you know of nurses that, let's say you're not trying to place another nurse in Reno, and I only say Reno because we have a lot there, right?
Right.
And you're trying to place one there. Find one of yours. Ask them to go check it out for them first.
Absolutely. It's funny, I just got a phone call yesterday from a guy. He emailed me this afternoon about housing for Reno that he had. And so that's another way that we
do. We get some leads that way too. That's definitely true. I'd say probably twice a week, something that. Yeah. We'll get contacted by places that offer housing that understand there's a market there.
Yeah. And another thing that I do too is if I go on a trip, we went to Savannah for a week, mm-hmm. so we stayed in an Airbnb there, and I talked to the owner while we were there, mm-hmm. and I was like, hey, I'm a travel nurse, I work with travel nurses, would it be something you're interested in doing? And then, I saved his information, so now I have it to pass on to anybody.
Right.
And it was great housing, a great location, cheap, yeah.
What's the time frame on an Airbnb? Could you do it for 3 months?
Yeah.
I mean, is that, and would it be more expensive?
So usually they give a small discount through Airbnb, but the best way to do that is to get that person's contact information and go through them directly, not through Airbnb, because Airbnb will charge a huge fee just for their services.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, on a 3-month stay, you're probably looking at $400 or $500 fee.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's best if you can get their contact information and then go directly through them.
Go right through them.
Yep.
Interesting. Jamie, talk to me a little bit about some struggles maybe you've had trying to place a nurse where housing has been difficult.
Early for me, finding housing was tough. Mm-hmm. Being new, Google is your best tool.
Sure.
But over time you found, Furnished Finder. The Gypsy Nurse has their Gypsy housing.
They do.
But I found out really early that you have to start looking in those areas, regardless of whether there's a contract, there's an offer. It's smart to get your ducks in a row, if you will.
Absolutely.
And start looking at all those websites, whether or not the nurse is looking or not, just to see what's out there, how much it's going to cost, what is open, and start pushing those leads that direction.
Yep.
Another one of the places that's really tough, or has been tough, is Santa Fe.
Okay.
Not that there's not a ton of housing, but there's a lot of travelers there, and it's a lot of stuff going on constantly. So I actually had a nurse down crunch time to the last day, just on this last contract just a couple weeks ago. She found beautiful housing. House, 2-bedroom house, full backyard, everything for her dog, and she didn't get it till the very last minute. I mean, she was traveling,
right,
and just hoping she was gonna come across something. Which is not good to be that way, but she had some other things in her back pocket that we were looking at. But
sure, she
found exactly what she was looking for, pet friendly, and a lot of places online will offer that.
I think there's been as we talk about this a whole lot, how the industry has changed, right? And the industry even in the past 8-9 years, the industry has changed. You're going to find a lot of agencies out there that no longer have housing departments, right? They don't. It just isn't. It's not cost effective from the agency standpoint or an insurance standpoint that the agency would have to carry to cover that. But the way, like you mentioned, the way that housing is found now has changed too. So
big time.
It makes a huge difference now. Google, the internet has really changed things. Facebook has really changed things. You'll find that I would say it's probably 90-ish% now, at least in what I've seen out there, take that housing stipend versus taking the company housing.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
I would think probably more than that.
Yeah.
It's greater availability and it's more cost effective.
Yeah, and one thing that to consider is when you're looking, we get unfurnished housing, and we'll buy stuff on Craigslist or the Goodwill or whatever, and and I resell it. I usually sell it for more than I purchased it for. So I'll buy a couch for $50 and I'll sell it for $100.
Nice.
So I've done that pretty much every assignment that I've been to that I've gotten my own housing.
Even better.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
That's a great perspective that I haven't heard as much from.
Yeah. And then some people are weird about like a bed, like a used bed or whatever, but we buy a super cheap mattress on Walmart.com. It's a memory foam. It's like $200 and like $220 for a queen size bed. And then we do lose a little on that because we resell it for usually about $100. So, but you get a new bed,
Sure.
and so we have really good luck with that.
That is super interesting.
Yeah.
So, and you're flipping stuff while you're on contract.
Yeah, exactly. So
I love that.
That's a good idea. And then we have rented before too, but that is so expensive. It's when we were in California, we rented. I think it was like $700 a month. So I mean, even what we lost on any of the furniture that we bought,
right?
We we still saved. So.
Interesting. What about like a rent-a-center kind of place for TVs and stuff like that? Is that or
we take our TV with us because Michael has to have like a 47-inch TV and
Michael.
I know.
Well, he does have to watch baseball. So
baseball, football, whatever other sport is on.
All right, I get it.
So, anyways, we take our TV with us.
Okay.
But while we were here in Omaha, we actually bought a TV for our Airbnb because they didn't have one in like our room.
Nice.
And it was like $100. So we're just gonna take it with us too, I guess.
Just take it with you or whatever.
Yeah.
Now you have 2 TVs.
We do. So I can watch what I want to while I'm watching sports.
Michael.
Yeah.
So, all right, awesome. Well, I know we just crammed a whole lot into 9 minutes right there. So
yeah,
I think in the end, it's just one of those things where you got to be resourceful, right? You got to.
Yep.
And you're probably resourceful anyway, since if you're doing this, just take that next step.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm really good, I feel like, at finding housing. So if anybody needs help, let me know. Another good resource is looking in our personal, like we have a Reno page. Get on there, ask people. They're more than happy to help.
Totally. Yeah.
Atlas has our own little database that we've acquired from travelers, and like I just said, from people calling into us and saying, "Hey, we know you guys work with travelers.
Yep.
We've got some great information for you." Then you've got all the online spots, your Furnished Finder, Airbnb. You can really just Google temporary housing in a city for rent, and a ton's gonna come up.
And you're going to find it.
But good recruiters are gonna have some good
Have those resources.
Yeah.
available for their travelers.
Perfect. All right. Well, Jamie Getzschman runs a Facebook group, Trail Boss RN. If you're into Jeeps, hiking, any kind of outdoor stuff, he's your man. Ronnie Robinette was a travel nurse, still a nurse, but now a travel nurse recruiter. So if you are in the market for a new recruiter,
See me.
there you go, right there. All right. We'll see you next week.